Hi there. Before you jump into this episode, we want to make sure our listeners know about the How Do You Drew Patreon page, where we release exclusive content for our members.
We've shared unedited video versions of podcast episodes, rare Drew Barrymore photos from our digital archives, movie commentaries, and so much more.
We're currently working through a deep dive of each chapter of Little Girl Lost, which, if you don't know, is Drew's out-of-print autobiography released when she was only a teenager. And it's been really good stuff, you guys.
There's already plenty of content to dig into and lots more to come. So join now for as little as $1 a month and support us at How Do You Drew.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/howdoyoudrew to join today. Thank you.
Enjoy the episode.
Hello, and welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by thedrewsium.com.
And sponsored by our friends at Positive Medium.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Ashley. I'm almost thinking, like, do I need to say something besides hello? There's something about hello. And my voice just goes, like Peter Brady. I don't understand it.
Just start playing with different words like howdy and welcome.
Or maybe just try to be less excited and just be like, hello.
Not be yourself.
I know. Couldn't do it. I'm enthusiastic. I'm excited about this episode, as I always am. I'm rarely like, why do we pick this? I don't know if I've ever felt that way. Have you?
I don't think I've dreaded a topic, if that's what you mean. Like, we have fun no matter what.
Right. The dread comes kind of more when I'm like, there's a lot of research to do on this, which is why we haven't done like E.T. or Charlie's Angels yet, because they have to be like big, right? It's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah. We might never do them. No. I can't deal with the pressure. All right. So for episode 104, should we jump into
We got a tidbits galore.
All right. So let's talk about this little tidbit that was posted on Drew's, the show Instagram or her personal Instagram?
The shows. Maybe they might have made her a collaborator, but it started on the show.
Okay. So it was kind of confusing. So in this clip, Val walks in and she's like holding two toys and they play a clip of Drew talking about not having things from her childhood.
Which was the day we were at the show. Did you realize that?
Yes. And then Val says that like it's vague, but like somebody had these of Drew's. Drew had given it to this person, I think for their child. And then they said something like, that child's now 30 years old. And then they're sending them back to Drew because they heard that she no longer had things from her childhood. So explain your little dive that you did and found out something.
Okay. Cool. Well, first of all, like I had to watch the video like 3 times before I even really understood. I think Val was intentionally being vague about who this person was that they had in common. So I would love to know, but I get it's like personal, private.
So let me lead us into this little edit that we're adding in right here. We actually got a little bit of info about where these things came from. So let's go ahead and give some details.
This is crazy. So we're going to still keep this person anonymous, but they reached out to us and just happened to bring it up. Like we didn't ask anybody. It just happened. And it's someone that we know was very involved in Drew's past. And it's a like super satisfying kind of solution. It's somebody who we've been talking about on the pod like for a while.
It is a very funny coincidence, but it like, I don't know if you already said it, but the like excitement and getting like that answer this quickly.
That answer this quickly and directly offered to us without us even asking for it.
It's just so sweet. You know, maybe at some day like Drew will come out and say this, but for now, we feel like it's sort of like keep it close to the heart a little.
Yeah, but I will just quickly read part of the message. It says that both the bear and the doll sat in my oldest daughter's bedroom on a shelf for a decade and on top of her closet for 2 more decades. And then she's 36 now, the daughter. And they went on to say, I remember the day Drew bagged up a bunch of her stuffed animals for me to give to my 2 young daughters at the time. Returning the bear and the ET doll made all of us very happy. Hope you're well, thriving, and Drew-tastic. So
So
cool.
cool. So cool. So yeah, we just had to drop this in here.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Yeah, so listen to us talk a little bit more about this. And yeah, enjoy the episode.
At first, I was like, come on, could these really be hers? You know, because it's just, there's just not a lot from her childhood. We know this as like collectors of her. We've actively sought this stuff out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, there's that one picture of her in her room where you can see stuffed animals on the shelf all the way around the room.
Uh-huh.
And so I open it up. I send you a picture. I was like, nope, it's not here. And then we both go, wait a second. And zoom in. And this like very distinct teddy bear with this little patch of hair on its head is visible in this picture of her from 1987 in her bedroom. It was like the coolest discovery.
It's so cool because it's one of those things, like it's a personal item. So what's the likeliness that we have like something to reference, and the one thing to reference?
This one photo happened to have it. And
it had tons of teddy bears, to be fair. So there was like a good chance, but
there's
cool.
also a good chance it wouldn't have been there, you know?
Right.
And like, I think like I tagged Val in it and she responded like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like imagine being her and getting that validation. It was real too. Like how freaking awesome.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, I hope that that information kind of made its way to Drew, or Drew saw it. But it is so distinct, that little weird, the pinkish color, which clearly has faded, and this little tuft of like ribbon on its head. All right. So
cute.
Out of that part and into what has Drew proclaimed her love for?
I love love.
All right. We've got a bare bones Drew loves this week, because guess what? The show is starting to do reruns. And I'm a little bummed. I thought maybe they would like somehow stretch it out, but they're already reissuing like old footage, re-airing old footage. So all I've got that's new this week is that Drew loves pasta water, which I feel like she talks about a lot. I was surprised it wasn't on our list. And she also loves mushrooms. Well, that's it.
I am cooking a pizza tonight that's got mushrooms on it.
Oh, that's cool. Are you going to put some pasta water on top?
Yeah, of course.
Always.
I always splash some pasta water. I need to add that, you know.
That starchiness.
Yeah, I need to add it back in. All right. So now we are going to jump into this really nice place called the Kind Comments Corner.
So sweet.
All right, here's what's so sweet this week. Actually, this literally says the word so sweet in it. This is hilarious. I pulled this from the Instagram video about the teddy bear. This is from Cammie D. Smith.
Okay, and they said, this made me cry face emoji. So sweet. Drew, have grown up with you from ET to now. You have been deeply loved in every season of your life. Praying you feel it now.
Oh, that part got me. Isn't that sweet?
And the every season of your life.
Yes. It's like that thing we talk about with these different eras of Drew. And yeah, we love all of them.
Yeah, that's sweet. I feel like so many people have that feeling about her. Like they grew up with her.
Totally. Yep.
Like, and we are like, I don't know. I always say this, but I'm like, a lot of people have rooted for her for a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's why she's, what does she say? She wants to be like an old chair in your room that you just like.
So familiar.
It's always around. It's cozy.
Yeah, I forget who was on her show that she was talking about, where they're like, yeah, that's how I think of you, an old chair, Drew Barrymore. Anyway, that was great. Okay, so let's go back in time a little bit.
All right, let's go back to May 9th, 1992. This was kind of cool and random. Drew attended the Cannes Film Festival, first and last time ever, in France for Gun Crazy. I went and like researched. It doesn't look like it was up for any like official entry or
Okay.
awards. I don't totally know how that works, but it did supposedly premiere there. Tamara
Okay.
Davis was there. She's in like one picture. There's a lot of photos of Drew posing by this pool. Like, don't know the context.
So many.
So many.
In a robe. Most of them are in a robe.
Yeah, because it looks like she like kind of got into the water, and she's with Jamie Walters in some of the pictures, and just being her 17-year-old cute self. And the dress is so like, oh yeah, like everyone remembers this dress,
It's
right?
so distinct. I almost feel like I want to look up like who made it. Quick sidebar, the dress is a Couture Machino dress, which is an Italian designer.
It's like color blocked, black, red, white, yellow with this big heart on the front of it. It's almost the way it's like form fitting is almost a little Poison Ivy.
A little
like
bit.
Post makeover Ivy.
A little bit. And I will say, just like talking about the look, her hair is unique here. Like the shade of like brownish reddish that it is and the like length, it feels like exactly this time. Like how long was her hair like this?
It was only a pretty short time, but when I think of 1992, this is exactly what I think of.
That is funny.
Isn't that funny? She talked about this going to Cannes on Dennis Miller, which is probably like a week later. So we'll play a quick clip about that.
Everyone there was great. The press was great. They were really excited. It was really refreshing because I have a boyfriend that I'm very in love with, and they were very excited to see young love, romance in Hollywood. They were great to us. Everybody at the festival that was there for the festival, that was great, but the people who live there don't like young Americans, and they were just really rude to us.
Yeah, rude in France? Come on.
Yeah, she talks about that a lot in Interview 92. Like, basically, we hated it.
Oh my gosh.
They like went shopping at the Chanel store. And the cute thing is she was going to get, remember those black high heels, kind of strappy that she wore all the time around this era?
I think
they were going to get like more of those, I guess. And in the Chanel store, the employees thought that they were going to shoplift, so they kicked them out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then the last little note about this is that they played Game Boy in the Paris airport with Linda Evangelista. In the interview, Drew says that was the highlight of our trip to Cannes, going head to head with Linda Evangelista. And I love that she was on the Drew Barrymore show this year and talked about it. That was so cool.
It was so neat because I feel like she was like, I don't know if you remember.
Yes. And I'm over there like, I remember.
Well, yes, let's come back to the present for a minute.
Okay, for a minute.
And then we'll go back in the past again. So
we're jumping all over.
We have a time machine. So
here we go with the news, everybody.
All right, just a couple little things this time around. First of all, I think it's notable to mention that Flower Beauty is no longer listed in Drew's Instagram bio. We, again, just like Drew Magazine, we've been telling you guys the writing's on the wall. We've noticed the signs. Drew herself mentioned both of those things as like her doing too much. She has to let go of them. But this one kind of hits hard. Like, it's been around for over 10 years.
Yeah, and it's provided just, that was that like her first kind of foray into like having products on the shelves? Because the Flower Home came
everything
later.
else was after.
I mean, there have been things that have like come and gone since Flower Beauty has
lots
continued.
of things.
Yeah, lots of things. And we did a Barrymore Brands episode. You can listen to that. But now we have an update for Barrymore Brands. Unfortunately,
I know.
Flower Beauty's ending.
Pretty much all that's left is beautiful.
Which you know, I'm happy. I mean, we both have like collections of Flower Beauty stuff. But you know, the other thing, we won't have like new, like go into CVS and see the new display with all the cute pictures of her.
Man,
I mean,
I'm so curious. Like, is it valuable enough to sell it? Like, will it continue on with different ownership? It's different than like a Dear Drew or Barrymore Wines. Like, it's been around for a long time. It has a following. And I'm just curious, like,
if they'll do that.
yeah, which would be so interesting to see. So we'll keep you guys posted.
I can't see Drew doing it, but I guess we'll see. But yes, it's off her bio, as you said. So that feels kind of official.
Yeah. Speaking
official.
of beautiful, I just thought I had to mention this personally as a lover of the color pink, especially blush. The Drew chair is now available in the color blush, and the kids version is too. And it's so pretty.
That's so cool. Since I've got my sage, they had to make your light pinky color.
I just wish they would do towels in this color. Their quote unquote pink towels are totally lavender. Like they don't read pink to me at all. And I really need pink towels for my new beautiful bathroom.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
but I love this colorway. That's really, really fun.
So pretty.
There's two more things in what's new with Drew. We have a new ad for Garnier, which is a collab with the National Parks Foundation, and it's so cute.
It is. I thought you especially, didn't you go through kind of a phase of going to like a lot of national parks? Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you'd love this.
When I went on a road trip in 2018, we did like 7 national parks, I think.
That's right.
Something like that. Or like national parks and state parks. Anyway,
I'm curious.
It's really cute.
Yeah, will this be like actually a commercial on TV or is it just a social media ad? Can't really tell.
That's a good question.
But yeah, it's adorable. Drew's in like lots of different little get-ups just related to whatever national park she's talking about.
And I think in each like segment, she has like a postcard that she's holding under her arm.
It's really cute.
Anyway, so that's a neat, like we had the Garnier, her as like whatever the honeybee or whatever that whole thing was.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
I guess that honeybee thing was like early on that had that creepy thing, and then they kind of went away from that.
Thank God.
But this is like really darling. I mean, yes, I'm a big lover of national parks, so it's fun to see these like things come together.
Yeah.
All right, something else that we love. Hollywood Squares, the second season. You found out they're now casting.
That's true.
And that would be for like the people who come on as contestants, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're in the LA area and you're interested, there's a really long application that we will link to. And it looks like they're scheduled to shoot approximately late June. So yay. That means like, even though the Drew Barrymore show is on early hiatus, at least we know we have something coming up where Drew will be like doing stuff that we can see, hopefully.
Yes. And we're excited to see more Hollywood Squares. So fun.
That's right. We are.
Hey Drewbies! We are here to tell you about our website hosts, Positive Medium, and they sponsor the podcast. We've been clients of theirs for over 10 years, and we use them for all our website needs on thedrewsium.com.
Their services include customized web design, professional coding, search engine optimization and marketing, plus hosting, which has been huge for us for many years.
Plus, their incredible customer service has been one of our favorite features. They've literally saved our site quite a few times, and they always help with minor troubleshooting in a matter of minutes. So whether that's coding issues or back-end questions, etc., we reach out, we get help immediately, which is just invaluable.
Lucky you. To our listeners, Positive Medium is offering 25% off any managed WordPress hosting plan using our promo code DREW. That's DREW. Visit our friends over at positivemedium.com. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get into our topic for episode 104, 1994.
Isn't that a nice little synchronicity?
Yes.
Not intentional.
What do we have so similar to that previously? It was like the last one. Was
yeah, our movie line 2001 was episode 101.
That's right.
Like we've talked about, we are nerds about numbers.
and like I think we like early on it was like we have to stop obsessing about like what the numbers mean and all that, and it's just so fun when they align. So yes, we're not talking about how we are like Lindsay Meeks right now. We are talking about the year 1994.
Ooh, good Drew year. It's funny, like we put this on our list kind of knowing I think that she was
busy.
Mhm.
But when I first went to make the notes, so the research, I was like, ooh, it doesn't feel like there's a lot here. Like she was filming a lot throughout this year. So there's not a lot of events per se.
Mhm.
But as I really like kept going, I was like, oh, we can do something with this. We're going to approach it a little differently. Normally we like literally go chronologically January
Mhm.
through December. And this one, it doesn't quite work that way just because of how she was kind of out of the limelight a lot because she was
Yep.
busy filming. So stick with us. You're going to get the full picture of the year. And it was a good year. Oh,
Yes.
she's so beautiful.
She is so beautiful. And yeah, there's like, we'll talk about it, but like lots of great magazine features. And there's some like big things that happen in her life.
Yes.
So let's jump in. Should we set the scene?
Yes.
So Drew turns 19 at the beginning of 1994. Such a baby.
So young.
Her career is kind of starting to ramp up, and she's doing studio movies again for the first time since childhood. She steadily works all year long, and we'll get into that. She's freshly off of the Guess campaign, which that was a huge deal. We love the Guess campaign.
Love.
And a long and tumultuous shoot for the film Bad Girls. She does get a lot of press and publicity this year, kind of more on the personal life side, but we'll get into that. And is definitely still seen as a bit of like a wild child because of her choices this year.
Perfect. Yeah, that sets the scene, I think, really nicely. So we know kind of where we're at in her life and career. Before we get into these different little sections, I thought this was really cool. There was this interviewer during the Bad Girls press junket. And one of the fun things he did, which I'm like, oh, cool, we can kind of see, you know, more of who Drew was at this time. He lists these like one word ways to describe her that he'd like come up with. And then she confirms if they're true. And I think she agreed with all of them. It's kind of cute.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so let's take a listen.
Fun.
I like to have fun.
Unconventional.
Definitely.
Your wedding proved that, right?
Yes.
Impulsive. I wrote that down. A survivor.
Yeah.
Self-critical.
Definitely.
Fearless.
Now I am.
It was fearless, not fearless, fearless.
Yes, that's exactly how it is.
Passionate.
I hope so.
Yes, complicated.
Definitely.
But I feel like she would probably still use all of these words. Fearless, maybe not as much these days. I feel like she just carries a lot of fear about her daughters and other things like that.
True.
But the rest, for sure.
Yeah, I like that. That was a fun little pull.
Yeah.
All right, so you got a little peek. If you guys don't know, there is a wedding in 1994.
We'll get into that.
Let's first get into her adorable look this year. And there are so many fun and really like wonderful looks that we die for.
Oh my gosh. This is definitely like when you say she was the queen of the 90s, like this is a great year to illustrate that. And I think that this tiny little paragraph from Wildflower, in her own words, she almost does a better job than we even could as describing her kind of vibe.
Okay. She said, I was at that age where I had come into my own body. So I was a non-bra wearing, vintage clothes sporting gal who carried a boombox that I had hand-painted rainbows and hearts and clouds on, which you made a note here. She, I think, still has it. I think you're totally right.
It's amazing.
So then she says, I showed up with my serape backpack and super short blonde pixie hair, and I was simply put a 90s hippie.
It's like, yep, that's it. That's what she looked like at this time.
Yep.
It's so fun.
I love it.
She had some of her most really iconic hairstyles this year. So it was always short and blonde. She starts out with the quote unquote woo woo bouncy curls. We love that. And you see that in most of Boys on the Side. And then at the end of the movie, she's kind of got this more mature, smooth bob, and she carried that into her normal life as well. Then we get a little bit more of a shaggy look, and that's what her hair looks like in Mad Love. And then finally, more towards the end of the year, she did this super short pixie with like baby bangs that really only she could pull off.
I was just going to say, she looks amazing in all of these looks. I mean, obviously, we both love 1994, but like the Mad Love hair, it's like goals You know,
Yeah.
like my hair is pretty much that length right now, but still, like I've always loved the length and the texture. And I love how you said kind of shaggy. Anyway,
Ugh, they're all so good.
so much fun hair. If you haven't seen our hairstyle timeline, go to the Drewseum and look at that because you can kind of see the progression of these, which is really fun.
Great idea. And we'll, of course, have some photos on the episode page.
Of
Guys,
course.
go to howdoyoutruth.com. We always have a page for every episode, which always has an elaborate gallery and all the links that we're going to talk about, like links to different things.
That's very true. Another notable thing related to Drew's body, she got her butterfly tattoo early in the year. And it would be her final one for the next 15 years until the birdie in 2009.
Isn't that crazy?
I did not realize that.
I like, that's the math, right? Yeah, the math is mathin'.
Wow. Wild.
Yeah,
and now
that
it's
is
like
wild.
she's gotten like one like every year
I know,
or something almost.
but don't
not
you
quite.
remember for so long it was like the butterfly
Those
was
were the
the last
tattoos.
one. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't really know for sure when she got it, but she was talking about it on the Tonight Show, which we'll get to in April. So somewhere early on, because she did not have it in the guest photo shoot.
All right. So now we're going to kind of jump into another big segment of 1994 and talk about her career.
Huge.
So she was filming basically the entire year.
So crazy. Like,
yes.
What a time. I mean, I know we get her show most of the year, but this is just like, she was just stacking movies up nonstop back then.
Yep.
Okay, so the first one that she filmed was Boys on the Side. It filmed from January to April, mainly in Arizona. They also did some stuff in Pittsburgh. There's establishing shots other places, but I don't know if Drew herself was going to those.
Mm-hmm.
And most notably, she got married in the middle of this shoot. And like we said, we are going to get into that a little bit further on. But that's definitely a big thing that happened at that time.
Yes. And it's like wild. Did she just like get away for a little while and then come back and I'm married? I think she
really did. Like, surprise, guys.
Did you already mention that we did Boys on the Side for episode 52?
Yes. So we're going to have a lot of episodes that get deeper into many of the things we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And we will link to all of those on the episode page.
Yes. Okay. So then we've got Mad Love, the beloved Mad Love, which she filmed in Seattle in June and July. Notably, she met Nancy Juvonen for the first time, whose brother was working on the crew for Mad Love. This is hugely informative for her.
Oh, my God.
Because as you may know, Drew recruited Nancy the following year to start Flower Films with her and Drew's assistant at the time, Kim Greitzer. So hugely formative. Of course, like whenever we watch the film and when we talk about it, and even when we talk about Little Girl Lost, there is some like real mental like game she was playing with herself in this film. She had a hard time during shooting, and you can see it in like hospital scenes, like relating to her past.
It was definitely like pulling a lot of trauma from her actual life. But yeah, she did have Eric Erlandson, who again, we're going to talk about in a minute, there with her. So that like helped her get through all of that shooting.
Mm-hmm, totally. And if you want to listen to us talk more about that, episode 31, we talked all about Mad Love.
Here we go. And then finally, she rounded out the year filming Batman Forever, approximately October, November of 1994. And it was filmed in LA. And she was brought on for the small role by Joel Schumacher. They had previously done 2000 Malibu Road together, but he'd also known her since she was like a kid to play one of Two-Face's little side girls, Sugar and Spice. Spice is Debbie Mazar. And we are planning on covering Batman Forever this summer for the how many years? 30-year anniversary?
Oh my God, 30-year.
Yeah. And to honor Val Kilmer, who we recently lost. So we will be talking more about Batman Forever soon.
Yes, we will. And Drew's, as she called it, glitter dipped Marilyn.
God, I love her in that movie.
It's so gorgeous. I mean, 1994, she's got the looks.
Yeah, she's just freaking beautiful.
Actually, just like, this is off topic, but one of the interviews that you like at the beginning, I think it's the Bobby Wygant one.
Yes.
She's like, Like something about how beautiful Drew is.
I think
but
she
she's-
said like it's not unlawful how pretty
Yes!
you are, or something like that.
and Drew's
Drew's
like, oh my God.
And it's true.
It's kind of true. All right. So then some things, here's the release of a couple movies, starting with Bad Girls. She did a press junket in San Antonio, Texas. That seems kind of random.
So weird. I never caught that little snippet before until I was rewatching some of these interviews today. And I was like, what the heck? Why did they go there to do press?
That's
so
interesting.
strange. I
It
know.
is.
I'd love to know the reasoning for that. And
Yep.
I was like, well, was she filming Boys on the Side in Arizona? That doesn't really make sense. I don't think those are that close together. Anyway,
Could
one
be.
of those weird mysteries.
Yep, could be. She attended the premiere with her husband at the time. Again, we're going to get into more of this. Jeremy Thomas. It was like literally right in the middle of their very short marriage.
Right in the middle.
And an event she attended. It happened to be very casual.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't even know if it was like a technical red carpet premiere. It sure doesn't look like it.
or just like a screening.
Yeah, and it's like there's just like people standing on the sidewalk. It's certainly not like, what do they call those? Step and repeat. It's not one of those.
Yes. And then she promoted the film on her first appearance on Jay Leno on The Tonight Show. And you noted it's awkward. Is there any like what do you feel is awkward about it?
She is very uncomfortable discussing her marriage, which is interesting because in the press junket, like 10 days previously, she's having no problem. She's gushing about it. So I'm like, either something happened in that time, which is very possible with how quickly things turned.
Yep.
Or this was like, a much wider audience, but you can tell that she's like, I swear I'm in love. I did the right thing by getting married. Like she's so uncomfortable. So it's just interesting because like how many times did she go on to be on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of time went by before she came back, which is kind of like notable, but she was on there forever and they had a great rapport. And this is a little different, this vibe. We'll definitely link to it. It's on YouTube, at least partially.
I need to rewatch because I don't remember like the vibe. I remember the look for some reason. Anyway.
Oh, the look is adorable.
It's so cute. I'm just never going to be able to stop mentioning how cute she is.
No.
Anyway, so the movie Bad Girls was released in the US on April 22nd. Hey, that just passed. That's interesting. And the movie was unfortunately a box office disappointment and received pretty bad reviews, but it was still impactful to Drew's career. Like it really was what provided her with the inspiration to start Flower Films.
Yeah.
And kind of it proved that she could be in a studio film, and she was, amongst other like great female actresses. I mean, it was a great experience for her, I think, for other reasons, because it was tumultuous and all that. But
right. Yeah, it is. I know we've talked about this before, but it is so interesting to like think of the perspective of that time and where she was at, and like that she was like almost quote unquote lucky to be in this movie with these three other women, where like her career has probably transcended all of theirs now in a way,
Right.
Okay. So then the only other thing that comes out this year is this very weird independent movie. It's called Inside.
Very independent, maybe.
It's called Inside the Gold Mine. And Drew does a completely random cameo that we know absolutely nothing about. We don't know why she was in it. The only connection I could find, because I was like, God, I would love to have some answers.
Yeah.
She was at the Sliver movie premiere in 1993, which is probably when this was filmed. And the writer-director was also there.
Okay.
He's also like a Nepo baby.
Okay.
So I would love to get more insight on that, but it did premiere in June of 94 at the Seattle Film Festival. And that's pretty much all it ever did. It has horrible reviews. I've never seen the whole thing. Have you?
I don't know if I've seen the whole thing. I remember Drew's part. I feel like what I remember about her part is, isn't she like wearing her own shirt?
Yep, she's wearing her striped shirt that is actually going to be in our cover art for this episode, but it's also in a photo shoot that we'll be talking about. And she's so cute in it. Like she's very much playing her kind of self, but I think she's like trying to get this guy into a cult. It's like and like between the lines, that's kind of the vibe.
That's funny. I don't remember that at all. I just feel like, were they like in like an outdoor market?
Yeah, they're at like a flea market or something.
Yeah.
But it is on YouTube, I think, courtesy of our friends at Drew Barrymore Daisy. And it's worth watching. It's like 2 minutes long and she's just luminous.
I mean, I think we've talked about doing like an episode about cameos.
Yeah.
So when we do eventually, we'll get into it a little bit more.
Maybe we'll know more at that time.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so now let's get into some of the magazines that have new shoots from this year. So we've talked about this before. Like there are many, many, many magazines that come out with Drew in them, but we like to focus in these on the unique photo shoots that come out.
Yeah, like
good ones.
We tend to be a little, I mean, okay, I shouldn't say we. I tend to be a little like snobby about like recycled photo shoots.
Yes.
Like I'm like, why didn't they take new pictures? And that seems to be really common these days in magazines.
Yeah.
But this year, no problem. The magazine budget was through the roof because everybody was doing their own new photo shoots.
And we are so happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start. And these are in order of when they were released. So we're kind of in a chronological mode here. So a February cover feature for Esquire was released, and it has a photo shoot by Sante Durazio. There's also a book that has some additional pictures
outtakes
from this. Yeah.
Which is great because they only have the cover and then one picture inside. That's all that was printed in the magazine. And it's like a 1-page feature. Something funny I noticed as I was going through this, it's like the ones that are not cover features almost seem to have
more pictures,
a longer spread of our I don't get it.
That's weird. All right, you jump into this really magical one.
One of my favorites, and I know I say that a lot, but this is for The Face magazine. It's a British magazine, and this was the March issue. She is not on the cover, but there are 8 full-page, absolutely stunning photos in this one. And they were done by Ellen von Unworth, who she had just started working with the previous year for the first time for Vogue. And I mean, these are just, I just die for these. I love them so much.
There are like several setups. Oh, here's where that shirt comes up that she wears and
there
inside the gold mine. It's adorable. Like more than half of them are black and white. Oh,
yeah, which is funny because I always think of it as a very colorful shoot because of the pink and the orange ones. But yeah,
so funny. And also, I mean, I feel like every time I come to this in my book, like I know I so rarely get to flip through my books, but I'm always like, oh, when I get to like the baby doll, I'm always like, oh, yay! Like it doesn't get boring.
Nope, it sure doesn't. I think Ellen von Unworth, 90%, 99% of her photo shoots with Drew never get boring. Like I always go, oh, I love this one.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we got to move on. In April, a cover feature was released for YM, which was a really popular teen magazine. It's gone, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sure it is.
What was it? What did YM stand for? Not important.
Young and Modern. But I think before that, I think originally it was Young Miss. And then, they rebranded in the 90s, Young and Modern. We're 90s girls now.
All right. So we've got a cover shoot that was done by Daniela Federica. And then there are 3 pictures on the inside by Matthew Rolston, one of which is a tattoo close-up.
We love a tattoo close-up. And this was always a mystery to me because the shoot by Daniela that they used for the cover, I don't know what it was done for. Like maybe it was done for YM, but there's a ton of pictures from it that we've seen printed all over the place. And it's talk about the woo-woo bouncy curls. Like that's totally what she's got going on. So yeah, it's definitely a confusing thing when they do this, when magazines go, I'm going to pull this picture from a totally different shoot for the cover. We've talked about this a lot too. It's also a pet peeve of mine.
It used to really confuse me that her hair was curly on the cover and straight on the other ones. Like I think I just wouldn't have thought of them together.
Even weirder, she is wearing the same red baby doll tee on the cover and inside. And it was like a popular brand at the time funnily enough, Alex from Scream Style Sleuth, he's like ID'd it for me.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so they're like, you think they're the same, but they're not. It's very weird.
That is strange.
But they're all freaking cute.
Yeah, very cute. Very, very cute.
Then we get an April cover feature for Movie Line. We actually just discussed this one in our episode 89. The photos were done by Albert Sanchez, and this is one of many Movie Line cover features that she did. And we've been covering those on the podcast, and we have one more to go. So those are really deep dive articles. So they're a lot of fun to go and check those out.
Yeah. The pictures in this are kind of like I mean, they're cute, but they feel very plain. These are a flip past.
Yeah. Especially compared to the rest in this year.
Right. I still love them. They're beautiful, but this is something I don't think I spend time looking at. I kind of go past it.
Agreed.
But we've got a really lovely one next that I remember being so excited when I finally got in my collection.
Totally.
So this is from Glamour. It's an April issue, but it's only inside the magazine, and it's a big spread again. You're so right. These photographs, I don't think I remembered this photographer because I don't even remember the name. They were done by Tiziano Magni. I'm probably saying that wrong.
One and only time she worked with this person.
But yeah, I really sought after these pictures for a long time.
They still seem incredibly under the radar. So it's called Drew Does Denim, and she's definitely a little more modestly dressed than maybe she would have been at this time. It was kind of an unusual look for her, and they like curled her hair in a different way. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like people didn't know about this one. It's like hidden gem.
And they're still, I mean, I feel like I don't appreciate them enough. Like I'm looking at some of them going like, oh my gosh, I almost don't remember this.
I know. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Her hair almost looks curled the way it does in some of the guest shoots.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I could see that.
Like the palm tree vibe. Like I feel like the texture of her hair.
It's a little more scrunchy curls.
Yeah. But that's a really lovely one. So if you haven't seen this feature, you guys check it out.
And then that same month, this is obviously one of your absolute favorites, another huge spread inside Allure magazine. She's not on the cover. This one was done by legendary Herb Ritz, which is so cool. Mm-hmm. And we always call it the profile picture, like kind of the Drew photo. It's in our website header where we had Drew sign a postcard of this picture. Like that comes from this shoot. Yeah. And all black and white, her on the beach, gorgeous, beautiful. Wild at Heart is the name of the feature.
They're so good and classic as can be. Like especially that profile picture. It's like could be from any time. It's so, and it's I've said this a million times, but it's what I take when I get my hair cut.
Yeah, it's so good.
But it's such a good one. And this was another inside only spread. Interesting.
Wild.
Yeah. And then another inside spread that's pretty cool for Us magazine from the May issue is a Mark Seliger photo shoot, the first one they did together.
Yeah, classic.
And yes, and we have done a Mark Seliger episode.
Yeah, that was our episode 100. We've also done this exact specific magazine in our episode 45, where we talk about the photos, but also the article, which is great. It's like while she was filming Boys on the Side, and it's good stuff, guys. This is like your classic boxing photo, Alice in Wonderland photo. This is this photo shoot.
Yeah, this has got a lot of classics. Like this and the last one, I feel like I've seen them a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good. And when you look at this, and when we talked about it on the episode about Mark, it's kind of amazing how many setups they did.
I know. Yeah. Again, like I said, the budget for magazines back then.
Good point.
Oh, we just don't see stuff like this anymore.
Yep. We sure don't.
And then our final notable issue that came out that year is also a UK magazine called Sky. This was their July issue. She is on the cover, but the cover is an outtake from the Esquire photo shoot. It's almost the exact same picture. It's kind of hilarious. Why did they do this?
So funny.
But the inside shoot is one of my absolute favorites, and it's done by Matthew Muller. And the ones that are printed in the magazine are only like a small sample of the amazing photo shoot that was done, but it has a lot of Drew with her friends, Justine and Mel and Kim, and she's kind of just like hanging out in LA in the ones that they printed. But there's like the Field of Daisies ones, like there's some
absolute gems from this year. We'll definitely share some outtakes in the episode gallery.
Yeah, those like Field of Daisies ones, I feel like were used in so many other like foreign magazines.
Yeah.
Like what? Like I feel like what was its even primary release? It feels
I
like
almost wonder if he like took them for, I feel like he was friends with all of them. I've kind of like figured that out, and maybe he just took them for whatever and then sold them to all these different publications. Hard to say. It's a different
but
one.
they're awesome.
Oh, love
Something you just have to see for yourself. Again,
Yep.
a lot of black and whites here.
Yep.
All the inside pictures are black and white.
I guess the magazine budget wasn't that high because they did used to print a lot in black and white back then.
But it's also like I feel like it feels what's the word I
Intentional?
want? It feels intentional, like they feel artsy.
Yeah, but even when we get to people, which is like we have in a separate section, all the pictures inside that are black and white. And I don't think that was going for artsy.
I think you make a very good point there. All right. So in the magazine front, this is not something that was released, but she had posed for Playboy for their January 95 issue at the end of 1994. It would have been on newsstands by the end of the year. Another Ellen von Unwerth shoot. We love her.
Love.
And it's not the first time she'd been nude in like photos and films, but it was definitely in her phase of exhibitionist, wild child, little wood nymph area.
That's direct quote from Drew herself.
Yes. And Playboy, we have an episode about it if you want to hear about it.
Not only do we have an episode about it, but the crazy thing is anytime that it like comes up in the media or the press or the collective consciousness that she did Playboy, our website hits go through the roof. So recently somebody posted about it on Reddit in like a very popular subreddit. And what did I show you? Our hits that day went up 70,000% or something insane.
I was like, is that all time for this page? You're like, nope, that's today.
So crazy. So we are like the number one resource when you Google Drew Barrymore Playboy, which I'm like, I don't know how she would feel about that, but that's where we're at.
Her kids are going to see it. That's where, if they haven't already.
Sorry, guys.
But it is really funny that page of our site is like the biggest draw
every single day by far.
You know what? It's a piece of art. I'm glad that we can be of service.
It is. We love it. All right, so let's move away from Drew's professional life and get a little bit more into her personal life, her relationships this year. Because 1993, she was pretty much, as far as we know, single that whole year. She'd got off that really bad breakup with Jamie Walters that broke her heart so badly. And I don't think she really was with anybody throughout 93, but things are gonna change now that we're in 94.
Yes.
Because she gets spontaneously married, as we've been alluding to bar owner Jeremy Thomas. So they had started dating February 12th. They had met up at a party, but they had actually met 2 years earlier at the Roxbury Club. And I know when we talked about this in our weddings episode, number 26, that I'm sure I went off on a tirade that she would have been like 17 when they met. And he was... his age is a question mark. Like, I think he was definitely in his 30s. He looks a lot older, but he also is British, which sometimes you can't tell.
And I feel like there's a thing like people in the 90s, like,
yes,
they might have been in their 20s, but they dressed like they were 40. So it's like, you can't really tell.
But he's definitely older than her by a bit. Yeah. So Drew proposed, supposedly, on March 20th at 2 a.m. in the alley behind his bar in Hollywood and said, like, let's just do this right now. So she borrowed a sheer cream slip dress, and all the bar employees like scrambled to get other arrangements made, including hiring and finding the minister psychic private detective who officiated the wedding from like 1-800 I marry you. And then the ceremony happened at 5 a.m. as the sun was rising. There was an entire
cover story for People Magazine's April 11th issue about this, with lots of photos from the actual event, if we can call it that.
So they had to arrange that too?
Yeah, I find that part very interesting because in one of these interviews, press junket interviews for Bad Girls, she's saying like, oh, we kind of hoped like no one would even really take note that I got married. I'm like, well, what came first?
Yeah,
I wonder.
Yeah. It's very intriguing.
If you don't know, spoiler alert, she later explained that this was a green card situation. So I think he was Welsh, and she was trying to like do a nice thing. She kind of backtracks about this later on, sort of like, oh, we weren't even really together. But I don't believe that because like, grossly enough, he sold like some of the letters and cards she'd sent him to tabloids. And, you know, those were just for him, right? That wasn't like her telling the press how she felt. That was her talking to him directly. I definitely think she was like, thought she was in love with him and thought like she was doing this great thing. Yeah. And very quickly she went like, oh shit, this was not a good move.
No, it wasn't.
So she ended up filing for divorce on May 10th. So real quick turnaround. She later called him the devil. And funnily enough, she just was called out sort of about that in Us Weekly just a few weeks ago. And she said that infamous quote makes her smile. And she says, I kind of love my old self. Now I would probably be a lot more diplomatic. Yes, she would.
Absolutely.
We talk about that a lot.
Yes, we do. Like with the particularly juicy movie line from 92.
She would never talk like that.
No. And we're just dredging it up.
Yeah,
she also wants to be real in a way.
That's true. But yes, speaking of not being real, she really calls this marriage like her only regret and the only time she wasn't true to herself. She felt like such an asshole being out there pretending like she was so happy to be married. And it's it's hard. Like I said, that Tonight Show appearance, it's sad to watch like that she's like trying so hard to make this thing work, or at least for appearance sake, and she's not happy about it. So it's a very interesting little time in her life that this happened at 19.
Yep. It's like a blip, but it's also like it, of course, carried with her and how she was in every relationship and marriage going forward. So one relationship that kind of came after this that seemed to be lovely for a lot of it was she started dating Eric Erlandson of Hole. They met in late 1993, but then reconnected while Drew was filming Mad Love in Seattle, which I guess is probably where he lived, right?
Yeah, and I think like it must have been movie line 95 where she's like, she tells the whole story of the meeting and she's like, then I had to go get married and get my freaking shit together.
That's
and then we could date.
That's right. So Drew spent a lot of the second half of the year with Hole, basically touring, going to shows in England and New York and Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles, all over the place. And there is lots of evidence of it and many adorable photographs of Drew with Eric, or there's some of Drew like on stage with Courtney randomly. A lot of fun. There's like adorable.
All of them. So cute. Like I really love this era of her life where she's just like hanging with the band. She's just so freaking adorable.
And she seems like she's having so much fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Too. So fun.
And she would go on to be with Eric, we should mention, for about 2 years until Luke Wilson entered the picture in 1996. Was there an overlap? We don't know, but they were very close together. We'll say that.
I also feels like it's such a different Drew, the one that was with Eric and one that was with Luke, like
absolutely.
I don't know. So she was changing. The relationship had to change.
The seasons of her life. Is that what that commenter said?
Yes. All right. So we have some extra tidbits that didn't quite fit in the other categories, but worth mentioning for sure.
Yeah. So I think it's really wild and interesting that she really didn't attend any red carpet events that year.
Like we talked about that super casual Bad Girls screening, didn't even seem to be a true red carpet event. She literally goes to nothing. Yes, she was filming all year long, but it's funny because when she went to the Billboard Music Awards in December 93, and then all these weird rumors came out in the press right afterwards, she literally declared, quote, "I am never going out again." So I'm almost like, she really held up to that for the next year. Like she did not go to anything.
What were the rumors about? It was something.
Oh, you don't remember? It was like she was
me.
dating Billy Idol, and she had her down there pierced, like all that stuff.
All that stuff
after that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm never going out again. Yeah, and for a year.
Yeah, she truly did it.
Absolutely not. Okay, totally worth mentioning. We have gotten such a lovely little insight into Drew's personal photographs and selfies taken during this time.
Selfie pioneer.
She
truly like that was not a normal thing to do back with a film camera, I don't think.
Yep. There were a slew printed in Interview 95, which a lot of them were taken the previous year in 94. And also there are, over the last like year or so, they've been surfacing clearly from her personal archive. We have kind of figured out that maybe because of that collaboration with Justin Bieber for the Drew line.
Oh, by the way, he doesn't even own that brand anymore.
What?
There's like, I read this whole thing where he like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sold it.
No, not even like he disowned. There's a whole thing where he like disowned the brand. So I don't think we're going to see any more of that. Just
all right.
Just a little FYI. But yeah, there's been so many on her social media, and a lot of them are used like very briefly in a little video or with
flashing
like weird text on them. But there's so many from 94, which we absolutely gobble up. We love so much.
We always just die a little bit.
Yeah.
Every time one of them comes up. Oh my God, I'm just like skimming through the ones that you collected and put in our notes. And like, I don't even remember this like last one with the stone ground. That's recently, right? Like that came out recently?
It's probably like a year ago.
It's so cute.
The eyebrows. We should have talked about the eyebrows at the top of this episode. Her thinnest ever this year.
Thinnest ever.
Ever. Like, they pretty much are like two little hairs.
Impossible. Like when we watched Mad Love, I think I was like, the thinness of the eyebrow is at its peak. Yeah. I think this is a perfect opportunity to mention it though, because you really see it in like all of her personal pictures. She's not like dolling them up any,
That's
more.
True.
So good.
So good.
So good.
And then we have to mention that she went on her infamous cruise to the Mediterranean with her friend Mel Bochco, and Mel's mom. There's an entire chapter in Wildflower about this called Jumping Ship, which is very fun to read and definitely made me go, I can't wait to get into Wildflower chapter by chapter.
Yep.
So we're not going to talk too much about it now, but I just pulled two little snippets I want to read. So she's kind of explaining being on this cruise and like having a really rough time with it. Mm-hmm. She says, I was starting to get really depressed. For weeks, this went on. Wake up, eat together, get on a bus together, learn together. No Mel, because Mel was always sleeping on the boat. No break in the steps of the day's proceedings, and I was too young and stupid to take in the land. Instead, I was stewing in the formality of every moment being accounted for. It just wasn't me. I was a free bird caged. It was coming to a boiling point. Ooh. So because of this, and Drew later went on David Letterman at the beginning of 95 and told the story, but she literally jumps off this boat into the water.
Yep.
And to kind of explain why, she says again in Wildflower, I felt like this boat being stuck out in the water was my final straw. I could see land, but not get to it. And promenading around the floating jail was not my idea of leisure. So she jumps off the boat and like swims to a rock and realizes like, well, that's not sustainable and has to get rescued. And it's this whole drama that only 94 Drew, I feel like, could do.
So wild. And of course she looks amazing.
Yeah.
So was this a trip? This is not the same trip that she was supposed to take as her like honeymoon, right? Is that
no? So
the chapter gets into the details of it, but basically Mel's mom is deciding she's going to go on this trip.
Okay.
And Drew was like, that sounds amazing. Like, let's go too. So they like piggyback on it. And the mom is just hating Drew the whole time because she's just
no.
God, you're so embarrassing. Like, God, you're not dressed right. God, you're like too loud. You have your boombox. And Drew was just stuck with all these like old people going on organized
tours and stuff.
Tours. Yeah. And she's just miserable. And it's a really fun read. And by the end, she's like, I'm so sorry to Mel's mom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that'll be very fun to get more details about, but we had to mention it because it's such a wild part of her life that I don't feel like a lot of people realize happened.
Yeah. A blip. Another blip that is like weirdly
legendary
and a great story. Yeah. Yeah. So you pulled a clip here where she is kind of speaking sort of broadly about the year. So this will kind of close up our discussion of 1994. So let's listen to this.
Well, a lady just asked me if I'm on top of the world, and I said no, I'm on top of my own world, you know, which is kind of how I feel about it. It's not overwhelming. I won't let it become that because that's when it can be scary or, you know, you can't put your finger on something. It seems, you know, ungrounding. I feel very comfortable with where I'm at in my life, and more than anything else, grateful.
Oh. I love that. And again, so eloquent.
Yeah. And just, wow, to think about like what was to come. Like 95, huge year for her. 98, astronomically huge. Yeah. And it just like keeps coming. So I love that she's like on this kind of trajectory here, and she's still like her free 90s, you know, amazing spirit. And this is like our girl. This is who we love to talk about. That's why we're all here.
And I love that this year ended up coming up with like so much. Like it's rich. Yeah. It's richer than we realized, maybe.
Yep.
You know?
Such fun stuff. Okay, guys. So if you like that little trip down memory lane, we want to say thank you. And we would love if you could rate, review, and subscribe. You can go on Apple Podcasts and actually type a couple sentences up about how wonderfully smart we are about Drew Barrymore's life. We are the historians. And then follow us on Instagram at How Do You Drew Pod. And then we also have our other account at Drewseum.
Yes. And because you're always online, make sure you visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com, hosted on the drewseum.com. Make sure you sign up for our Patreon.
Patreon.com/howdoyoudrew.
Because we are almost done going through Little Girl Lost.
I know we keep saying that, but really we're going to finish.
Kind of dragging it on a little bit, but we're getting there. All that content is up there if you want to hear us like really get into every chapter of Little Girl Lost. Go over there. Don't forget to send listener mail to us at howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com or any of these other socials that we're on. And thank you guys, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This episode of the How Do You Drew podcast was researched and produced by Ashley and Ann from thedrewseum.com with help from our sponsor, Positive Medium.
Special thanks to Matt Costa for our lovely theme song, Roxy Prima for our adorable logo, and last but not least, Drew Barrymore and all the Drewbies who love her. We do this for you.
Thank you.